Now we will be repeating after His Holiness the verses which are the receiving of the refuge vows. And since we're repeating a foreign language, it might seem that you really don't understand what you're saying, but there's no need to worry because the meaning has just been explained. And basically it begins with requesting the Vajra Master to please bear witness, and then you begin to repeat the vows, but please, although you don't know the meaning of the words, keep in mind the explanation that was just given, that you are basically reiterating what has just been repeated to you, that in order to be protected from the fears of the 6 classes of rebirth, and in order to save and liberate all parent sentient beings, I'm taking the vows of refuge. And like this, you should have a very pure, open heart and pure intention. When it comes to intention, it can never be something that we just ignore, because in fact there are 3 possibilities: virtuous or positive intention, non-virtuous or negative, and a neutral intention. For instance, if you have a neutral intention, which means that you're really not necessarily giving rise to a virtuous or a non-virtuous one, then that's what you're causing, and you will receive the same result, which means that the whole thing is just kind of blank or neutral. And so it's the cause that gives you the fruit or the result of what you're going to receive from it. So the intention is like the cause, and it's extremely important that you just try to give rise to a pure, virtuous intention. Now, His just said dak. That means I. When you hear that word dak, right after that, you say your own name. Now the refuge ceremony is complete, and we'll begin with the Wang, or the empowerment. First, looking at the reason for receiving Wang, we have in Buddhism the two general divisions of Sutra and Tantra. And both Sutra and Tantra ultimately lead to liberation from cyclic existence. So from that point of view, there is no difference between them, because the ultimate result is the same. However, the two divisions exist because of the different sensibilities, elements, and capacities of individuals on the path. And this is the reason for the distinction.
Master, the Santi Tamjan, Master, took to party, the Mara, Shuska, Lonska, Turkis, Scuffsum, the Santi Scuffsum, the Jockey, Dharma Kaya, Samboka, and Dharma Kaya Sandua, also Shuska, Lonska, Turkis, the some young Dharma Kaya, Dharma Kaya, Sambokaya, Dharma Kaya, that is a Sanskrit, not also in Nathan Chusku, Lonsku, Tuskus, Santi Skusum comes at us, Santi Namko, Skusum, Zapan.
And all of the enlightened ones, the Buddha's activities are expressed by way of the three kayas, the Dharma kaya, Sambhoga kaya, and Nirmana kaya.
Samna, Namkala, Dava Stiction, Namkil Dava, choose not Mombo to Salam Shariana, Snot Kativ Shana, Snot Mombo Shana, but not choose not Jatamba Shana, the David Jatamba Shakra. Then choose not Steve Shariana, then our David Steve Shakra. The Namsin Bazako, also Simpson Cheto, that the Putravati, the Dharma Gini. Skusum Zappa, Nostik, Donald, Snoti Chapper, Snot to say, Maraso, Simpson, Tamchan, that's not doubt, should not doubt. Still a tinny, then Sanji goes good. Skusum, no take a Donald, and also Helena, Tankano started in Silanda, Mendaji, Mobus Dua, Tendra was, don't get Condison, took the Condison, Stupari, Helena, should not come to Ganala, Sharky. Dava Namkala Stigmi or Marva. In my house, not the Latini, does Mobusher, the Nams days.
For example, there's but one moon in the sky, and if you were to place many different containers of water on the ground, let's say 100 different little containers of water, there will be 100 reflections of the moon in each container. Or if you place just one container, there would also be just one reflection. And so, through this, it helps us to understand the way that the Buddhas express themselves is that really it seems to be different only because of the different needs of sentient beings. And it is for that reason that the different types of emanations or manifestations are expressed. But the actual source of the manifestation is the same. It is not different. It only appears to be different because there are these many different vessels there that are receiving it according to their needs. And so in dependence upon the needs of sentient beings, the three kayas are manifest. And also too, for example, in Atanka there will be many different images of deities. Yet the essence of the mind of all of them is the same. And so like it is that there's just one moon in the space, but many reflections of the moon all over the earth. So we should clearly understand that the nature of the Buddhas is one, yet all these different emanations are expressed because of the needs of all of the different sentient beings and their various sensibilities.
아니, 아주 추대했다는 거는 드라마다 먹보다가 매장에 이게 답장나들 이게 보통 먹고 드라마다 먹보다가 근데 알아서 근데 지금 혼난 돈 받은 돈 이제 참상나 진짜마다 먹고 먹고도 이거 자 강이나 싸움이라 또 담자고 근데 심전 거 근데 감도 먹고 잡을 거 근데 요구가 혼나 먹카시 맞춰 하는 참상나 사지발을 가도 가시형 잡고를 가도 다 끝나오신 바 내가 저 제발 말도 있나요 맞아 샘도 가면가 먹고 요구도 근데 그 심전 그 감도 듣니 주대다 근데 라마다다 쇼기가 됐어.
And likewise, the Dharma is a vast expression of truth. There are so many different volumes of books and scriptures. All of these teachings are necessary because, once again, because of the different elements and needs of sentient beings and their various capacities to understand. Oftentimes we would take note that certain people are interested in peaceful deities, and this is what they want to practice, and others are very attracted to the wrathful emanations, the wrathful deities, when in fact there is really no difference, no significant difference between the two, but the mind of the aspirant is attracted to one or the other because of their particular needs and their particular elements, sensibilities. And so this is the reason that we have these different expressions.
Tini chun ramada to songkante chuski song longski song chuski song sa ta tini sanjis kusum song sa ta songkante ta ante kepan rawos jari yare tonla ta changma chupara chuski ngoni sona changma chupara ta yang tari utino simchen ka tini notar ko hong tini song ta ta so ayeva so jagdoga longski song chuski song sa ta ta yang ramada mangbo song jagdo
Choose Sunya.
Song de chuski song longski song chuski song
Teaching. Teaching.
teaching kira ozera ta da res insare ta zen che yoda di chude ramada yoki.
And also to mention that the Dharma is brought into the world or is taught according to the Dharmakaya, Sambhogakaya, and Nirmanakaya. Although the meaning, the ultimate meaning is the same, the way that it itself is taught or expressed is transmitted on these different levels that correspond to the three kayas. And so sentient beings who are overpowered or overcome by phenomenal existence create different distinctions so that the only way to reach them is through the way that they can be reached. Therefore, the three kayas have come to exist.
Korea, Opa, Yoga, Tetani, Young Maha Yogas, Ana Yoga, Ata Yoga Center, Young Te, Timi, Ramba, Mobos, Tanyomoba Cheo, Yomoba Cheo, Yotite, to Nomoba Tap, to the Mobos Shonto, Quena, Manzikit, many in Balatama Stupara, Retarina, Natsato, Dhamma Yosona. Dite, Savi Nat of Shonjati, Telatini, the Nato, Savi Manti Songa. And long Natsayotna, Young long Telatini, long Nata, La Pampi, long man Songa. Tola Mansupara, in Nayam, Natsi Wonko, Simpson and Natsayodra. Nati Wonko, Mantus Yora, the Namzenba, Simpson and Yomo Mambo in Dramada Yodre, to teach it to the truth, Dramada, the Dramada, truth. Georgia don't have the road to the Yankasi down Hamakuna, shoot the Korean and Dramada Mo, the August on the great.
Now, in this particular aeon of time, when the five conflicting emotions or delusions, specifically that of lack of awareness, anger, pride, desire, and jealousy, keep on increasing rather than decreasing, then the need for antidotes or remedies also becomes greater. And therefore, the Dharma becomes more vast. And we have the 6 classes of Tantra that have arisen, which are geared towards the needs of beings and their delusions. The 3 outer Tantric classes of Kriya, Upa, and Yoga. The 3 inner classes of Maha, Anu, and Ati Yoga. And yet, the ultimate point is the same. It's like a medicine. The reason for medicine is the same, but the different types of medicines are different, depending upon the nature of the illness. So if a person is suffering from an imbalance with wind, then their medicine will be specified to that illness. Yet the reason for prescribing the medicine is the same. It's because they're ill. And so like that with Dharma, because we sentient beings basically are suffering from our own ignorance, we need Dharma, yet the type of Dharma that we may need will be different according to our needs and our elements and sensibilities. And so as Holiness is explaining all of this, just in case many of us may wonder, why are there so many different expressions, deities, and paths?
Sangha Lam Kava Tontini, the Skin Mother was midna, the Tukia Madi, Yamsilin Guna, Sanga Yamsilin Guna, Tangote, or Water Gogres, the Nibade, Long Gogres, the Sumala, the Tushit Katutzer, the Doda Theatre Gogres, now Sanga, Yinim Sonte, the Rabasum to the Rajini, Yonko Yare, the Insonte.
Now on the path of secret mantra, in order to be able to enter, engage, and practice, there are 3 things that we need. There are 3 aspects to the secret mantra transmission. The first is Wang, or empowerment. The second is Lung, or transmission. And the third is Chi, or commentary. So these 3, Wang, Lung, and Chi, empowerment, transmission, and commentary, we must have in order to practice the path of Vajrayana or secret mantra. And so this is like an introduction to what we're about to receive.
tani chuzina driva kadas menjioda chuzina trikayodna tani ngaso chung driva dero sangdi komba thoriada tanda ayodna tanda yang kashigo tanda samgiyora dana tani na maso simchan tamchan sangdi chu sonjida gawadi sena 타이 비심전 탐전 드네 상디지 공방토 비체도 드네 소요드레 마토 드네 마토 라마타와 있는 그 상을 지야서 드네 점바서 있는 justin 바이나 상 멀지야 드나서 소요 말이 탐전 드네는 직접 말이 봐 드네 상을 지켰 그 체도 드네 답이 추스기도 마토 드나서 소요레스.
As for an explanation of the reasons for receiving empowerment, the other reasons, besides the fact that it's the way to engage on the path of mantra, there are very many reasons. But for example, initially we may think of ourselves as worldly people, as ordinary people. And oftentimes we may think that we really aren't able to practice this profound path, and we are really probably not able to actually obtain buddhahood or enlightenment. Some of us think this way. But we shouldn't forget that when we speak of all sentient beings, it means that all sentient beings have the Buddha nature, and have the potential to obtain Buddhahood. And the number of sentient beings is limitless. There's no limit to it. And so all of these limitless or numberless sentient beings have this potential. It doesn't matter if they're a lama or a monk or however they appear, we're all equal in that we all have the ability to obtain Buddhahood. And so we shouldn't consider that there are any exceptions just because we're worldly or ordinary or laymen and women. The Dharma is equal for everyone.
also in many than tamjat to niba in the simple tamjat stick on Hakamari Tartu, so Namji Hako Madaman, Saudi Tacho. Another district of Jews go, Jude Dona on this and Jude Chlona Yomara. Sound district go, Jude, simple tamjat go, around go, Nana yot, Rango Jilla yot, Rango Jilla. Where now, Nima the Benaduga, Nima the Namkala Yora, Yodnatana. Then you don't go to the Yodite, not to Nima, Tongomatua. Nimam Tongomatua, Nima, your Maris in Amara, don't go to the Hoena, don't all over a paraptan lodges Gina, Nima, Yorava. Nima, don't go to the Yodite, not to make them Tongo Yama. The Dawsako, not so sound teacher go, St. John Nils and Lodra, or the Simpson Tamjet, turn the Choncho the Yentin. 탐지 그길라 요리 있나요? 다나데 상기다 셈전니까 가능 잡아요 손으리세나 상제 남고 호나 니마 틀리도록 전도 더럽게 그 접하다 가서는 상기자 보느라 말아서 셈전 치가래 세나 셈전 남고 접하다 갈 마타가 그랬더니 그런 거 오도 마시 더럽게 요나라 그때 이 손으로 접하다 마트다 뒤க்கப்ப래 당하랑수 추도 야고도 냠솔라나 맞죠 거나 셈건일도 랑라요데 상지적 그 주도 랑라요데 어제니 톨고 말이 뒤 드바도 드대고도 파르트라소나 상지야가 너한테 말아서 있는 야포치니 드니 추냠솔라나 드바트 초초요데 저 상지 초초요데 나 대티 손디데 그러나 추도 냠솔 될 거야 그래 나 예, 떠나해.
This universe, this entire external universe and its contents are all produced from causes. And so it is that everything in our phenomena, in our phenomenal experience of life, arises from a cause. And so when we consider the result of Buddhahood, whether it can be obtained or not, we have to consider if there's a cause for it. And this will prove to us that it is possible, because the potency for that result we already possess, which is the cause itself. There needs to be the cause, or the seed. And that cause is not outside of us, it's within us. Each and every sentient being possesses the Buddha nature. That is the very nature of their mind. It's like the sun in the space. The sun is always in the space. Yet when there are clouds, the sun is covered. So although temporarily, for periods of time, you can't see the sun, you know that the sun is there. You wouldn't say the sun has vanished. The sun is always there, even though it may be temporarily obscured by the covering of clouds. And so similarly, all sentient beings, all living creatures, possess the Buddha nature. In fact, they are of that very nature. The difference between a Buddha, an enlightened being, and a sentient being is then the difference of the sun free from clouds, thus the Buddhas, or the sun covered by clouds, sentient beings, who are overwhelmed by their own confusion, the confusion of their own lack of awareness of their Buddha nature. So they don't see it, they're not aware of it. And that's the only difference. So if we practice Dharma, and we practice Dharma very well, we will come to know the true nature of our mind. There's no doubt about it. And we will be set free from the obscurations that are covering that awareness from our mind just now. In fact, this is something that will be accomplished very easily. We're all set up to accomplish it if we just practice. And this is really the principal reason for practicing Dharma.